I want everyone to open their books to a new page. Take your ruler, make a 1/2 inch border. I need it to be like just perfect. Measure it carefully. Once you're done with that, put the date in the top right corner. You can see the topic on the board, copy it down. Now, I am going to draw on the board and I want everyone to copy me exactly as I have. Yeah? Once you do that, open your oil pastels, take out just blue and red crayons, cover the top half in blue, bottom half in red. I'm going to walk around and I'm going to be giving you marks for the neatness of your work. Yeah? Is that clear? Let us begin. No, absolutely not. That is not how my art class ever began or will ever begin. No. But this is the reality for the majority of our kids learning art in school. This is how it is. Art is seen as the fun, free period, no structure, no plan, not needed. It's seen as the filler of slots for teachers who don't have enough teaching time. Let's give them art. It's the first thing that is taken away from a child as a consequence for behavior that you want to bring to his notice. It's taken off the timetable without a thought every time exams are approaching and there's still portion to be covered. That is the reality. For most of our children, art starts and ends in a box. It's a neat box, it's a perfect box, but it's a box, and they stay within that. It does not need to be this way, and that's the story I'm here to tell you all. I'm Ruchi. I lead the visual arts program for the Akanksha Foundation. And the story I'm about to tell you is about an art program that's over a decade and a half old, has been running in the 21 schools in our network, and is a subject that's treated with a great deal of importance right from KG to grade 10. And I'm going to tell you that story through a book. This is the story of how the Akanksha children found their colors. Long, long ago in Akanksha, Didi realized that there were children who did not know about colors. So she walked in one day with a big book of activities, crayons, and lots of paper. Using a special curriculum, she taught children how to imagine. She showed them how everyday things could look different. They could now see outside and see inside. So Arun, when he made this piece of art, said that one side of him is bright and happy and the other one is quite dark. They learnt about different forms of art in India and about the great artists of the world. That's Van Gogh's sunflowers with just fingers on a huge wall. They learn to respect things around them. We focus a lot on the environment and the role that we as individuals play in the world. They saw themselves as special. Art was changing something inside each of them. They wanted to learn more. They wanted to go deeper. And Didi did that. She started classes where her children learnt that it was all right to not always understand things. At the end of a class on Raza's art, Suraj, one of my students, puts his hand up and he says, Didi, I just don't get it. And I was like, it's all right. You don't always have to get it. It's okay to feel it and have an opinion, but you don't have to get it. At the end of a class on Georgia O'Keeffe, Rekha walked away with a really great life lesson. She said that after painting in O'Keeffe style, she realized that it's not okay to just look at people from the exterior. You have to get to know them more. You really have to go deep to get to know them. Those are good learnings. They tried new, big, scary things and took their art to far, far away places and learned their own worth through all of the workshops that the Akanksha children get to do for adults. The world could not believe how beautiful these children were. Art was changing something around them. Didi saw her children learning how to stand up on their feet, exploring art as a career option. Art class became their world away from the world. Didi realized that what was happening here had a power beyond her imagination. Every piece of art that she saw seemed to shine. It was more than art. It was art that tells a story of incredible lives. Didi saw her children dreaming in colors brighter than she saw them use. And she smiled because she knew that the Akanksha children had found their colors. I think this story and our journey of a decade and a half experimenting with art just shows you that it's possible. It can be done. There's a lot of research out there that's telling us that there are deep connections between the study of the arts, not just visual arts, but the arts, and academics, the arts and skills. And I think that's something worth going deeper into. In a nutshell, I'm going to try and sum up some of what I've read. Art awakens an awareness within each of us. It helps us understand experiences and ideas and be able to communicate them. It makes us active participants of our experiences versus being passive consumers. It gives us a unique voice. In the classroom, it's led to greater student engagement, and you see bonds between children and teachers. During the COVID lockdown, we also saw the bonds between parents and children when they engaged in art. But besides this, there are just so many skills that art allows kids to learn. And I'm going to list out a few. Creative thinking, comprehension, critical thinking, socio-emotional awareness, a sense of joy and wonder, expression, observations, making connections, making choices, solving problems, taking risks, experimenting, learning from mistakes, reflection, self-awareness, self-criticism, envisioning, innovating. It's a long, long list. But how does this happen? Can it happen by just having art on your timetable? A time demarcated for art or the arts? No. It requires us to give it the same rigor, integrity, and passion that we would give any other subject. Doing the arts well in your school means that you will invest in finding the right curriculum. You will bring in the material that's required. You will free up time in an already very, very crowded timetable. You will find the right teacher. The right teacher does not have to be an artist. The right teacher is someone who's really passionate about the subject and loves to work with children. But bigger than that, and if you step back, it's really about changing a mindset. That's what's going to make this happen. We have to be able to look at art as more than a subject. We have to be able to see it as stories. What we're trying to do is allow children to create stories by themselves, of themselves, and of the world around them. And through that, and a visual language, they're going to be able to transcend geography and time, and that's really the magic of art. I'm going to pause. I know there are a ton of questions that we need to go deeper into, and I'm going to address a couple that seem important and relevant at this point. One is, after knowing its full potential, arts are still not considered as a mainstream subject. What are my thoughts on that? I think it's going to take years and years to undo how we've looked at the arts over decades, right? NEP is one extremely positive step. It's going to push us to have to include the arts in our schools. But besides that, it's very important for us to demonstrate what's possible. How do we find and highlight schools that are doing this well? Schools, organizations, networks, how do we bring them to the limelight? How do we find excellent proof points? How do we showcase excellent teachers in the arts? But more than that, I think what we need is more research in an Indian context for us to be really able to show people the correlation between study of the arts and academics and skills. The second question is around how can I integrate arts in my teaching in an online setup? So I'm just going to say, please go watch one of our master classes that is going to be coming up. It's by an excellent teacher, Dennis, who's going to show you exactly how you can do that. So rather than me speaking, I'd rather let the class and the kids and him tell you that. But I think the big takeaways when you watch a class like that is, in the finite time that you have with kids in synchronous classes, you want to use that really well. So you use those 30-35 minutes to really go deep into understanding the concept and the objectives. Don't do the actual art in that time. Just align and understand. And the second would be to use that time to connect and re-establish the connections that you had with children when you were meeting them in person. Use the time to share. Use the time to listen. The art can always happen as an assignment asynchronously. It doesn't need to happen in that time. To sum up, I'm just going to say that I have never felt more beautiful as a person or as a teacher than when I have walked out of an art class. Usually glitter in my hair and paint all over, looking kind of mad, but elated because I know that the kids and I engaged in something that was meaningful, that was fun, where we challenged and pushed each other, maybe tried something new, discovered and learned so many skills, watched so many values happening in action without even knowing that they were embedded in the lesson. And more than anything, walking away knowing that we created art, and through that a story, and that story was going to stay with us forever. I want to dedicate this to all the art teachers out there. Art teachers who I know very often feel alone, unknown, and unappreciated. I just want to say thank you for what you do. Don't give up. It's very, very important. Keep doing it. What you're doing is helping children tell their stories. What can really be more important than that? Thank you very much.